Apple's shareholder meeting in Cupertino, California has just wrapped up, and CNET senior writer Shara Tibken was inside. Apple had a record quarter with iPhone sales. Did we hear anything from Tim about future products, areas of interest that Apple is working on?
So there's always a question that relates to something about the future. This year I was surprised nobody asked about an Apple car, augmented reality, artificial intelligence. We also had some questions about how Apple views iPads versus Macs. Tim said that he sees them as separate, but he sees the iPad stealing more share from computers. But he was quick to say not the Mac, because the Mac is different than other computers and does more. Tim also talked about how important the Pro community is to Apple. So Apple revised its laptops last fall for the first time in about 4 years, but they haven't made any changes to desktop computers in years, basically. He reiterated that Apple really cares about creators, it really cares about creative professionals. It's just because we aren't seeing anything yet, it doesn't mean that they're not working on things. So I think it was basically his way of saying, hold on, we're going to come out with new products for you soon, just wait, we really care about you.
Last year's shareholder meeting was focused around, obviously, the big discussions around privacy and the FBI investigation into the San Bernardino case. What was the mood like this year now those discussions are mostly wrapped up?
Yeah, so we didn't really hear a lot about encryption. Tim Cook mentioned it. In terms of politics, there were questions about net neutrality. So this is the treatment of all content over the internet being treated the same. Tim Cook made some comments about how they don't like politics, but they know it's important to be involved in the conversation about policy. I think this also kind of speaks to Tim meeting with Donald Trump. I think Tim was basically trying to say, we think it's important to have a seat at the table, to have sort of influence in some way. One of the notable people in the room was Reverend Jesse Jackson. He was here last year as well.
Several $100 billion in offshore monies. There must be some plan to repatriate those monies. It's Apple, it's Cisco, it's Microsoft and other companies to get the money back to target the investment for reconstruction of the urban cities and rural areas of our country.
Shara, thank you very much for the inside scoop on everything Apple at the shareholders meeting, and make sure to stay tuned to CNET for all Apple coverage.